Testing, 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 testing. One, two, three. All right. Recording. We're recording. That's Tawab. All right. Well, first and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father, and His one begotten Son, who this world so we cause God, and Jesus Christ, whose true name drawn the Paleo Hebrew, right? Paleo Hebrew script, aka the Lashon Kodash, and the true names are Yahweh, by Shem Yahushai, by Shem HaRashak Kodash. All right, double honors be to the apostles and elders that great most. Well, it's us is 100% truth. Much peace and blessings be unto both. After the ratified truth and sincerity, we do say Shalom. I'm the I'm coming in with another camp lesson coming in and week out, man. Prophesying the downfall of America, aka by one of the greatest scriptures, as well as preaching repentance for the kingdom is at hand. Right to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. They're true Israelites. Not the old spot right now, because technical difficulties, for lack of a better term, back at the old spot. So I'm gonna be holding camp again from here on out. Unless I find a better spot, because it is the most suitable, cheap place, if you will, with a lot of activity. You know, a lot of foot traffic coming in right here. The cars coming and going, people walking by here and there. Now that was spot, man. That other spot. I got kicked out from that was a good spot, man. Relatively safe, a lot of traffic. Private area though, so we're just coming in. It's called Off the Spirit, man. I don't really have a lesson in mind. Go off the spirit on this one. Oh, Bosh, man, wish I about the eyes and edifying less. Right? So, I'm going to focus on the 10th chapter. And I think I already have an idea in mind. So, this is the book of Sirach, the 10th chapter, verse 1. And it doth read, a wise, and that word wise is is capital. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. But with that word judge means a man of authority that has the power to discern the situation the proper way. And that does not apply to these so-called judges out in your judicial courts, man. Right? That's not a true judge. A true judge is someone that's been authorized with the Spirit by Yahweh Hashemah Shai. And those are his prophets, servants of prophets, which are back here again today. Yeah, clowns out here talking about the prophets have been done away with. No. They be talking about Malachi, the last prophet. All right, because even going back to the New Testament, like in the book of Acts, it makes the mention of certain prophets that traveled up and to and fro from the eternity. The apostles are prophets, man. Right? The apostle John, the apostle, all those apostles, man, those are all prophets. Apostle goes out to the Greek word apostolos, which means a delegate, right? But in a sense, that also means someone that proclaimed a message. Hey, John was writing down these prophecies, man. And what is a prophet? Someone that says, because the word of prophesy means to speak before something happens. Speak about the topic before that topic ever flourishes on the scene, right? And the apostles are prophets, whether you like it or not. You just have a higher ranking, man, right? But you've always had the prophets, and they come back and because when you actually read the scriptures, you come to understand and knowledge the fact like that. Prophets, reincarnation is a thing, man. Reincarnation. People think to be a Hinduism, belief, but really that's reality. That ties back into the scriptures, man. Right? We so ignorantly call Jesus Christ the name of Yahweh trying the Hebrew. Talking about Matthew, the first chapter, verse 21 makes a mention how you shall save his people from their sins. Right? Yeah, meaning he, how was shy meaning to save. How was shy, right? What's it called? Yahweh Shai, he made the mention how John the Baptist is really the reincarnation of the prophet Elias, man. Elias. That being the Greek variant of Elijah. He was referring to the prophet Elijah, which does tie back to Malachi, the first and fourth chapter. Remember how he shall send his messenger. That was John the Baptist who paved the way for Yahweh Shai to come. And we believe the reincarnation again. He reincarnated as what's it called? The late beloved elder Abba Bippins, right? I'm at Malachi the fourth. I'm gonna pull that actually. You know, I don't really feel good again. I haven't eaten anything. I just put it out there. I don't feel good. we got pushed on there with the lust. Got my freaking, Celsius electrolyte packets. Keep you going, man. All right, but Malachi, the fourth chapter, verse 5. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. All right, but if you already did that by way of John the Baptist, what do you mean before the great and coming of the day of the Lord? Yahweh is supposed to come back here very soon. But when John the Baptist was here 2,000 years ago, because going back to Ecclesiastes, the first chapter, verse 9, so pull out, goes into how there's no new thing under the sun. History repeats itself, essentially. That saying in the world, history repeats itself, has significance, even in the scriptures, man. You know? That's something we approve. But when it comes to the kingdom, yeah, man, obviously, all these mistakes you see on the scene, they will not repeat themselves. Talking about the Revelation, the 21st chapter, or the 22nd chapter, I forget. Made the mention now, I make new things, man. I shall wipe away all tears and make things new. Right? Talking about the Ecclesiastes, the first chapter, verse 9. The thing that has been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Right? So again, things gonna repeat themselves. Elijah came back as John the Baptist 2,000 years ago, and we believe through the Spirit, with much I have faith, he came back as other business. And it was really through him that this truth flourished back in 1969, right? 1969, 1970. That was in Harlem, New York. The scripture going to how it was going to be through Judah that this truth will return to the earth again. Right? So, the chapter today on the way. Praise the Lord, brother. Thanks. So, about that one verse in the Gospels, man. Going into hey, this is Elias. This is Elias, aka Elijah. Bear with me. All right, this is the book of Matthew, 11th chapter, man. So this example of how a reincarnation is thing. People like to, and that goes to show you how what's it called, ignorant the people are. They don't read the scriptures. They may side with it, but until they get cut with their own doctrine using the scriptures, then they reject it. And that's why when you come into this truth as a newcomer and you start breaking things down to your really religious family. Somebody can even have the honor to go against the freaking church, man. Which we don't do that anymore because we're not about debates, man. The men of the Lord at Great Millstone may have done that back in the day, but that don't give us newer guy who does lesser man, right to do that. All right, dealing with the bust of the heart even made the mention how we're not supposed to debate. We're not about that spirit. But when you're when you're a newcomer, you start learning these precepts, you start, using it against these guys, and that you see how they react. They're like, oh, well, that's your belief, and that goes to show you how they reject the scriptures, man. Hey, because time out to Hebrews, the 4th chapter, verse 12. Hey, this word is sharp, man. Dividing the son. It cuts you, man. You get cut, meaning you get hurt. So it was Matthew, the 11th chapter. Right. All right. The 14th verse. And if you will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come. Right? Because that goes to show you how John the Baptist, it's like Elijah reincarnated as John the Baptist. And we too much have faith believe that John the Baptist reincarnated as the other Abba-Bivens, from which this truth comes into. Right, so tying back to Malachi, the 4th chapter. All right. It says, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming and great dreadful day of the Lord, because that would happen again. History in this case, history repeats itself twice. And we know through these signs that Yahweh Shai laid out for us 2,000 years ago that very soon he will return. All right. So that great and dreadful day will come very soon. We believe it. Pursuant to the signs he gave us, earthquakes in the earth, right? What's called sedition amongst men, right? Well, that means a lot of riots and rebellions. We see that, man. As a matter of fact, at 2020, man, as an example, my friends they had protests a couple years ago going about the retirement age. I looked it up, man. And you see how this civilized so-called civilized world, man. You see how life expectancy really shortened down, but now they're up and up to retirement age. So now you die when you're working, man. You don't get to actually live life as a human being. But we know through us, it'll be so. Our biggest time about the Proverbs, the 29th chapter, makes a mention how the, when the wicked when the wicked bear through, the people mourn. Right? That's in the book of Proverbs, the 29th chapter. Verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. And you will rejoice, man. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And you see how this damn devil is. He's taking peace from the earth, all these wars, all this exploitation, right? These draconian measures that he's putting out. That ties back to Isaiah the 10th chapter, going into how one to do that declares unrighteous rules, unrighteous decrees, right? What's it called? You kill your people, right? You pollute it, all these microplastics and things like that. No, even we biological, what's it called, humans, biological creatures, even the animals, man, they're contaminated. We got that forever chemicals. From that Teflon, that with the Teflon pans, what's it called? We also have microplastics from a lot of the food that we eat, man. The air we breathe is polluted, man. The water's polluted, right? With that being said, I'm going to show you how everything is all backwards, man. Everything is all dead. I thought a leader was supposed to be what's it called? For his people. That's actually that's what Abraham Lincoln said, if I'm mistaken, right? The Constitution is for the people, by the people, to the people. No, it really is for Esau Eden, right? But for the rest of his civilians under his subjugation, right? That's not so. First and foremost for us Israelites, man, because we know his end all be all is to eliminate us, right? That's by way of Jacob's trouble, man. That's you're gonna see what's it called, a whole lot of death recently, man. And that's one of the things we teach, right? Because the legacy of a prophet is a prophesy of evil, war, destruction, pestilence, man. We're not here to prophesy about goodness, we prophesy of peace and good, but that's for the kingdom. Get that for the kingdom. Ain't no God blessing America. Ain't no God blessing any of that, man. Things are inherently gonna get worse from here on out, whether you like it or not, right? There's the book of Jeremiah, the 28th chapter. And this is one of the reasons. How about back and as our hope you be edified. Alas, for that day is grace, that it is none like it, even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Gone. And what's it called? Going into that, that's where we're going to see a lot of this weapon technology, a lot of this AI development you see, that's all going to go off to Jake, man. Right? As a matter of fact, I believe it was like 2 years ago or so, you had a San Francisco police department, if I'm mistaken. They were talking about how they could implement robots into their police forces, man. Which some of it was partly due to the backlash police, faced with police brutality, on the scene. Everybody talk about it because this is post George Floyd crowd. So they've been talking about how we could use robots to not getting any blood on their hands. So you're seeing how they've been making up these talks, bringing in robots into the scene, and very soon you're going to see that when Esau comes out with great wrath, at Revelation 12 chapter 2, man, you're gonna see a lot of news articles going through these Tesla bots and things, for example, harming Jake, man, killing them, incarcerating them and things of that sort. You got drones with managed turrets, man. You got those robot dogs with managed turrets, right? One image that still sits in mind is that one company, Sword Industries, SWORD. Sword. And what does that mean? The gun, which tying back to the scriptures, that's the blessing of Esau Edom, the sword, which we know is a gun because this standard for self-defense ain't no freaking dagger, man. The Apostle Peter may have had a dagger and cut off an ear of a serpent, but that's not the standard anymore. Not even in the military. All right. I'm saying the UK Royal Forces, they do have like a standard, but that's like secondary or tertiary. The actual standard right now is the handgun, right? Or those bigger assault rifles, man. That's the sword, you know. And see that ties back into how these scriptures are code words and cannot be discerned by everybody. Because here, one of our doctrines that we teach is newspeak. We don't go by a lot of the newer definitions of certain words, but then again, we understand that the prophets told they have to use their ancient terminology. So we could, so what's it called? They didn't have no word for the word gun, but they wrote sword, and it was through the spirit that we were able to receive the understanding that that gun refers to a new invention called a gun, right? So you're gonna see a lot of these things, get on Jake. But it makes it mention how you shall be saved out of it. Who is that he? All right, so I'm not the elect. All right, because they're gonna be the ones to be preserved from the set of perils at hand, right? There is a preacher that came to mind, if I'm mistaken, in who was Joel the 5th chapter. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's also another one that came to mind, so it's like if you second this one, 9th chapter. I'm not so I'll pull it out. Hey, because the elect will be comic elect, and what will be those men, right? We want to be preserved from the sad perils at hand. Hey, that's why we're even reforming our way. That's why we're out here at camp, man. You know, right? We can be out. This is the will. This is our command. Because the commands don't just end off in the first 5 books of Moses, the Mosaic Law. They span the whole nine, the whole 9 yards. They span the Old Testament, New Testament, the Apocrypha, right? Like books, for example, Wisdom of Solomon, the book of Ecclesiastes, A.K. Sirach, right? What's it called? Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, the books and the prophets, the epistles, the gospels. There's a lot of commands right there which are laid down to us, right? And what is a reader in what's it called? What is a reader obligated to take heed to what's written, right? That's what we're here to do. We're here to take heed to what's written. Even what's it called? Thousands of years later into the future after it was published, we're here, what's it called, doing what's commanded of us. Because these words are faithful and true. So I'm going to go into the book of Job, the 5th chapter with me. Yeah, look at Job, the 5th chapter, verse 19. And I'm going to start at verse 17, actually. Behold, happy is a man whom Yahweh corrected. Therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. Which we get chastised, man. Hey, Jake, not so. Then the whole nation of Israel does get punished. I'm at the Amos, the 3rd chapter, verse 2. Out of all the families of the earth, I have known you. That's where the curses. But even then, getting down into it, the Lord is only dealing with an elect. That's where you see what's it called. Y'all can face more trials than the world in general. As a matter of fact, going back to Romans, the 1st chapter, made the mention how the Lord gave Jacob to their desires, man. Yeah, Jake, that was freaking the past life. They're gonna suffer what's it called, punishments, likened to that category. They're gonna do these things what they desire in the past life. Going out, they're gonna fulfill their lots again, right? When we get judged in the spirit realm, we get sent back here to serve out our punishment, and also to carry out what we're doing in the past life, man. Because again, history repeats itself time after Ecclesiastes, the 1st chapter, verse 9. All right, and you see whom the Lord is chastening, man. And you're gonna see it very soon, clearly. Time at the 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, going into then shall I make my chosen known, right? Because right now these people don't consider, right? Now deep down they know these are the men, but they got these demons on them that afflict them. What's it called? Talk shit and what's it called? Go against it, one not against the prophet. And for those same cons that are mocking the prophets, and even back in the past lives, laid hands on them. You got blood on your hands, right? Because going back to what's it called? Going back to the 1st Ezra, the 5th chapter, if I'm mistaken, or the 1st chapter, around verse 50 or so, it made the mention how you have made sport of my prophets. And no, Salakia, that's a precept right there. But I was referring to second is the first chapter, verse 42, if I'm mistaken. It goes into how who the prophets whom you have slain and whose low I require at thine hands. You know, to require blood at your hands means to face punishment for the atrocities done. Right? So it goes in the same verse 18, where he maketh sore and bindeth up, he wounded, and his hands made cold. He shall deliver thee in 6 struggles. All right, 6 struggles. So the Lord will preserve his elect, man. And he just said perils. Starvation is one of them, man. You know, we're talking about what's it called, cannibalism coming back. Which, if you actually read the scriptures, you come to understand cannibalism is accounted for. You know, going back to the siege, what's it called, from the Assyrians, when the Assyrians besieged, I forget what city it was in, but I know King Ahab, he was like one of the characters in that scene. You have these women out here talking about, this woman coming to the king talking about how we boiled one of my children up, and then we were supposed to boil her son, but she hid his son, and that's why he came to the king to ask for what's it called, a compensation, for advice on how to deal with this matter. So you see how Eve ate their babies, man. Cannibalism was accounted for, and it will come back. And we understand that because you see the human psychology of these people, man. You know, these people they don't have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You know, they don't have, because going back to Isaiah 33, chapter verse 6, we mention how wisdom shall be the stability of thy time. Be stable means fixed and firm, right? We should call perfect, not prone to sway, right? Because we have faith. We know it's written. We know how to move. But these people who are ignorant, they don't know what's coming up. They don't know what's next. They don't know what's prophecy's next. You know, they think cannibalism, and time out the wisdom of Solomon, the 17th chapter, verse 12, for fear is the betrayal of the suckers of reason. So they're gonna start what's they call panicking, tap dancing. I don't know what to do, and they're gonna go running frantic, kill each other, be cannibals and whatnot, right? That's the times we're coming into, and you see how it is more so that case, given the fact that these people, they're not true adults. They're still not adults in the state. That's where you've seen a lot of these films and TV shows. You always have the account of the parent making the mention to their kid. Parents are just grown up babies because they have no proper they have no proper counsel. You know, that's why the Akim, when they come into this truth, they make the mention how this truth is a second coming of age, a real coming of age, man. You grow up in this society 20 years old or 30 years old, down the line, you're still a fucking baby. You're still, what's it called, complaining, flipping out, being emotional and shit. When you come into this thing, man, you start to change. Or you start to grow. By way of the values, right? The rehearsing of laws, right? Correcting your behavior. Because time at the first Peter, the Apostle Peter made the mention. Be ye holy as I am holy. What's it called? With that being said, we're supposed to, I forgot how the verse went. I forget what verse it was in. But it made the mention how be ye holy as the Lord is holy. That means what's it called? Be of a godly conversation. A conversation means a code of conduct, a behavior, and that of a godly one. Not some fucking coward, what's it called? Wannabe freaking, pants sagging, motherfucker. But, be somebody that's actually, what's it called? Be a real man, right? One of the Agama precepts. Job the 5th chapter, verse 18. I was just getting into that. But I digress back to Job the 5th chapter, verse 19. He shall deliver thee in 6, and deliver means to save. All right, because the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shemi Hawashai, ain't physically going to come down here and swoop us up. All right? Prophecy says Yahweh Shai is going to save us, but he ain't going to swoop us up with his hand. He's going to beam us up, man. He's going to beam us up. Going back to 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter. But time after the Father, Lord, he's going to physically swoop you up, man. He's going to preserve you through the Spirit. Right? It's time back to Ezekiel the 9th chapter, that spiritual mark of exemption. Right? The elect, they have a spiritual mark of exemption. The wicked, on the other hand, who have blood on their hands, they have a mark to they have a mark to judgment. They have a mark of judgment, right? And then you got the physical mark, that being the MOTB, right? People come into this thing and they start what's it called getting confused about these what is this mark? Well, I thought the mark was evil, but well, that's because the Lord is something about upon you. That's where you see a lot of these people cannot understand the scriptures. They cannot interpret it the proper way. But Yahweh Bashim, I wish I to be working with you. And that's why I wish I made the mention how he that me let him hear. He had the spirit to understand, let him understand. And that's why the water Yahweh Bashim shot that we have this wisdom of understanding. And we have that spirit to hear. And these boys ain't just jumping off our goddamn ear, man. We take it in consideration. We get cut sometimes too, you don't get rebuked. But what's it called? It's only to build us up. There's a precept in the book of Proverbs making the mention how a wise man, and he shall be yet wiser. Right? And that applies to an elect. Lord, will we be those men, man? You know? You don't want to be no freaking coward, man. You know, no freaking loser, some fool. Right? Simple-minded buffoon. We don't want to be like. We don't want to be. We see how Jake is, man. That's a horrible way to be. That's how we was back in the ancient world. But that's like it. That pre-truth. But once receiving this truth, we don't want to go back. You got niggas coming to this thing and they get tired of it. They want to bring in traditions of man to this truth and like Hebrew rap. We're not about that lifestyle, man. You know, to us, you know, leave the music career alone. I mean, I can be singing in the background. We're not. What's it called? Making ourselves rich off of it. We're not publishing it up with these record labels, making money off monetization with these songs. You know, because it's not a rest. Well, how can we if you're there like privately? Leave the profit, leave the recognition of music, being a musician to the kingdom, because that's when it's going to how we'll be famous. You know, the Lord shall give us praise and fame among men. But that's in the kingdom. Leave that to the kingdom. You know, but yeah, Jake wanted to bring these traditions of men to this truth. But for the actual men of the Lord, they don't want to what's it called, to follow this truth, man. Right? You know, that means not bringing the philosophies of this, because this truth on its own is a philosophy in a sense, right? A way of thinking, a way of behaving, right? The ways of righteousness, the right hand knowledge, man. Right? Hey, go back to Psalms 119 and 19, or 109. Psalms 19 and 109. By precepts I've gained understanding, therefore I hate every false way. You know? And with that being said, when you start listening to these other philosophies, man, you know, Yahweh Bashim is dealing with you. You start to see how you don't fuck with these other philosophies. You know, like freaking what's it called? Ethnocentrism. You know, or the opposite of ethnocentric, because ethnocentric means to judge a culture by your culture. We are supposed to be ethnocentric, but you got that philosophy in the world where Esau promotes, don't be ethnocentric. You know, be welcoming. We're not here to be welcoming. We start be welcoming. We start accepting that philosophy, and we may bug out, but we're not about that. With that, what's it called? You see how the elect, they cannot be swayed regardless. You know, you got Jay come into this thing, and they may get taken, but to the elect, they don't. Because going back to Psalms 119 and 109, that feels like understanding or hate every false way. I'm like, Yea, and 7, there shall be no evil touch thee. That seventh plague, 7 represents many, right? A completion, right? And what's that ultimate prophecy? The ICBM, Intercontinental Ballistic Missile Destruction. Right? That's that 7th we're talking about. The Lord shall, what's it called? Preserve us from that fire. All right? Yahweh Shai's gonna, what's it called? Yahweh Shai and the angels are gonna come down here and what's it called? Deliver us elect, man. All right, that's what we do. We're not gonna get touched by that fire. That's in the book of 1 Thessalonians. Because you got people out here talking about you're gonna get what's it called? You know, lifted up by a spotlight from a cloud. First of all, there's no foundation in the kingdom. So how is it that you're gonna get lifted up into an actual cloud? Well, it's not talking about an actual cloud. More so, it's code word for another object, that being a chariot, so-called UFO. There's no wonder why you see them so clearly nowadays, every single second. First and foremost, that would be great. Because that's the curse of the earth. You know, that's the curse that goes over the skies of the earth, and that's been that way for throughout recorded history. That's when you see a lot of these historical portraits. They always spin a little chariot in the sky, right? All right, because those things are real. You know, those things aren't some new fountain technology developed by a mysterious government. Now Esau does have his own chariots. All right, we've seen examples of that. But what's it called? We know the true so-called UFOs are celestial vehicles, man, from heaven, and we're gonna get lifted up on those. Time out the Psalms 104 and 103 made the mention how the Lord maketh his cloud his chariot, right? So really, a cloud refers to a chariot. You can receive it or not. As a matter of fact, a chariot can cloak itself to a cloud. A lenticular cloud, as science calls it, a lenticular cloud is a UFO shaped cloud. That's a UFO. That's a chariot, man. You know, it's just pretending to be a cloud, right? So we got to look at First Thessalonians, the 4th chapter, verse 17. So it ain't talking about us being lifted up by no physical cloud, because again, it has no foundation. You got planes that go through that. You got skydivers that fall through it. But what's it called? You can't walk on a cloud. Now with the spiritual power, yes, you can. All right, with the spiritual power, you can levitate and just pretend to walk on. Yeah, I wish I was walking on water, man. That was just spiritual power. But it ain't talking about, what's it called, a spotlight lifting us up into a cloud, because a cloud is a gas. This cloud refers to a chariot. So I'm gonna go to first. That's the 4th chapter, verse 17. Sharper with me. Is this Timothy or is this one? Slovakia. This is the names. All right. First Thessalonians, the 4th chapter, Slovakia. Verse 16. For the Lord Yahweh Shai himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of power, and the dead and the Mashiach shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be glad, because what's it called? Time back to other scriptures, we make the mention how there's gonna be martyrs into this thing, man. Right? You're gonna have what's it called? Argument that get what's it called? Incarcerated, then beheaded for the testimony of this truth, man. Or that's prophecy too, you know. Or you may have Akim that may pass away peacefully when they go back to the spirit realm. There's been examples of the Akim passing away peacefully, right? They have finished their course, like the other Apostle Gabar makes the mention, you know. And there's also elect members that are still in the spirit realm that haven't descended yet, you know. What's it called? We don't know who the elect is all here. But we could presume that a lot of the elect are in the spirit realm right now, you know. So that's why it says they which are alive, man. Then we which are alive, right, and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. And how we shall. Wherefore comfort one another with these words. Yeah, because what's it called? Sing a chariot, man. That's a beautiful thing. You got that makes their day, man. You know, being in this captivity all alone, what's it called? Freaking vexing us up, man. You know, waking up in your job, and what's it called? You gotta deal with all these woke regulations now. Yeah, it's called. You got a woman, she started bugging you, start vexing you, man. And start what's it called, aggravating you, right? People as well start aggravating you. Bad leadership, man. A lot of specifics as to why we hate this place. And there's no wonder why when we read a certain precept or we see a spiritual sign such as a chariot, it's a comforting thing. Even reading this scripture, man, brings comfort, man. We'll comfort one another with these words, because that's the hope that we have, that very soon, hopefully within this year or so, that chariot does come down and we get beamed up, man. You know? All right? That's a close connection to the Lord. We're going to be with the angels on that scene, man. Right? Going out to the Ezekiel, the 1st chapter, the breakdown goes into how a chariot is really a living being, man. That being an angel. And then you got angels within those angels. And then when you get beamed up, you're gonna be alongside them. That's a comforting thing. I'm gonna pass it out. Right? Malachi 4th chapter. So it's no wonder how what's it called? It's a comforting thing, and that's the thing that confuses people really, because what we're here talking about, what's it called? We're over here, what's it called, rejoicing over the prophecies that come into place. But with these people, They're out here, what's it called, flipping out. And like, what the heck? How can you be happy that all this chaos is flourishing? Because we know through the Spirit and what's it called, by reading these scriptures, that we know that these are nothing but birth pains. These things have to come, destabilize these countries, and for that World War III to kick off, and for Yahweh Shai to finally come down here and establish the kingdom. Going will be righteous, man. All right, that's how. And we know we look for a righteous world, man. You know, we, we have no part with wickedness. There's a scripture going to look at Sirach going into that, right? I forget what scripture goes into that, but we're not for wickedness, man. Going back to the 9th chapter, verse 4, made the mention how put a spiritual mark of exemption upon those that sigh and cry for the abominations thereof. When you're sighing, man, you're vexed and you're tired, like, oh man, I can't handle it anymore. That's the spirit we're coming in. That's the spirit we're always in, being in this place, man. We can't handle this freaking, let's call it a wickedness, man. You know, all you see is bad leadership. You know, what's it called? Horrible living, right? This is captivity, man. Right? This is captivity. You know, all you see is hatred. There is no peace and rest as a prophet for those that for because they're hated, man. The prophets are hated. You know, hey, how wish I made that mention how you know, you guys are witnesses. Jake is witnesses of themselves that they are of those that have slain the prophets, man. You know, everything is against us. Everything is against us. You know, that goes back to John the 15th chapter, verse, I think it was 18 or so. I'm bringing that up. You know, they hate you. You know that the world hated me before it hated you. All right, because what's it called? There's a distinction between righteousness and wickedness, and we know going back to Job 9, chapter verse 24, earth is given to the hand of the wicked, and what does the scripture say? When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increases. And see, that's the base philosophy. That's the ideologies, the sciences, everything that they teach you in this place. Man, that's what they promote. That's how they raise you. They raise you in wickedness. We're not for that, man. It affects our spirits, man. It goes to the damn point. What's it called? Hey, Jake started dreaming about good dreams. Like they may have a dream about the kingdom, and then they wake up and they feel like shit. You know, they get all depressed, man. Or we may see a good movie like Avatar and Pandora, then you open your door and you see cement. You see this shit, man. You see this stuff, you know, freaking bullshit, man. And you get depressed. You know, we don't like this. You had some Jake come up earlier, man. Before I started camp, you had some Jake to but you know, he gave me bad vibes and all. But he was making the mention out, is there more to life? You know, because this ain't it. Yeah, it ain't fucking it. This is not our rest. You know, and that's why what's it called? We're waiting for something better. You know, depart you for this, not your rest, and lay you up treasures in heaven. Hey, set your affection on things above, right? The kingdom. You know, first of all, we have to what's it called? Do the works. It's like a solid. So the Lord, you know, we do something for the Lord pays us back, right? It's a work. You know, we push. You know, we push and doing this truth, and Yahweh Bashim shall give us our desires. As the scriptures say, delight thyself in the Lord, and the Lord shall give thee thy desires. Many of women, right? Women, right? Riches, fame, perfection. First and foremost, the blessing we want is to be perfected, man. Right? Righteousness, be sinless, to be a true God. Go back to our land, have power, fame, dominion, right? ETC, everything that encompasses what's it called perfection. You know, anything that encompasses be a true God. Anything is for God's right now. People get offended at they talk about like, that's blasphemy, but they did not consider that in the book of Psalms 82nd chapter, and even the Gospels, Yahweh shall never mention how ye are gods, but ye shall die like princes. Right? That's why, you know, we being in this flesh, we perish, more days. You know, but we know that when we get perfected in those bodies, we'll be true gods. Immortality, man. People think this thing would be some fucking lunatic, you know, fairy tale. But see, that goes to show you how Esau messed with the scriptures, man. Esau messed with the scriptures to the point where now when any person in general thinks about the Bible, they think about some fairy tale, you know, hugs and kisses, rainbows. But when they actually reach the scriptures, it's completely the opposite, man. All right, we talk about what's it called, vexation. You read about cannibalism. You read about what's it called, travail. Right, about what's it called, how the Lord acts and feels, how the Lord moves. Right? You have to understand many of these doctrines. You have to understand many things in the scriptures, man, that you wouldn't have learned if you weren't given the Spirit to actually read into this book. I'm gonna digress back to John the 15th chapter. All right, verse 16. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go and bring forth. Yeah, and that touches up on the fact that Jacob told to overlook that you can't seek this truth yourself. You can't seek this truth yourselves, man. Yahweh Bashim always tries to give you this truth, right? You know, this is his thing. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain. And whosoever you shall ask me of the Father in my name, he may give it me. These things I command you that you love one another. If the world hate you, you know that it hates. And when it goes into love another, it ain't talking about loving the wicked, man. You know, we're not gonna love, what's it called? These people last pounds, man. We're not gonna love the Esau. We're not gonna love the rest of the heathen. We're not gonna love the wicked of our people. Because Jake is all messed up in the brain. That love one another really goes into the elect. You know, we're have to love the hockey, man. If the world hate you, you know that they hated me before they hated you. If you were the world would love his own, because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you. Always hate means to dislike, despise. See, these people out here, they talk about how they would love the prophets, right, if they were on the scene, but they are on the scene. The only reason why people don't love the prophets is because the things we teach they don't benefit you. Matter of fact, they condemn you. And you see that in your Disney Pixar movie. I believe it was Disney Pixar, Encanto. And Encanto, you had many references to the scriptures. All right, one of those characters was Bruno, the prophet of doom. People freaking feared him. He prophesied about my goat was gonna die. He prophesied that it was gonna rain on my wedding day. And because legacy of the prophets is not more so prophesying peace, more so prophesying destruction. That's why we serve as watchmen. What's it called? Proclaiming advice. We're proclaiming you to repent, turn back, take heed to his advice. You may fix that way. You may fix your ways, and Lord willing, you may deserve the said perils at hand. Look back at Jonah. Jonah didn't prophesy peace. Hey, the prophet Jonah, he prophesied destruction to the city of Nineveh unless they repented. And what did the city of Nineveh do with the king on down? They repented. And you see how that was a wise king, Whereas Esau, when it comes to us coming out here in the highways, they try to shut us down. And they're all going to shut us down very soon. That means YouTube is going to go down. We're going to go off the greatest world. So you have to show you how this damn devil is nothing but wicked. Because he's not programmed to repent. He's not programmed for righteousness. He's not programmed to take in consider God damn, I've been going on. Let's make some notes. All right, what's it called? An Edomite looking dude repents and proclaims the name of Yahweh Ba'ashim Shai. That's no Edomite. That's an Israelite through the Spirit. All right, because ain't no goddamn heathen gonna proclaim these names. Only the Israelites, man. Hey, because going back to Romans the 8th chapter, the Spirit beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. Meaning the Lord can reveal to you that you're an Israelite, and further yet, He can reveal to you what tribe you are from. Right? Yeah, I can come out thinking that they're a certain tribe, but into this truth, the Lord begins to reveal that they're a different tribe, man. All right, and even if the Lord doesn't reveal to you specifically that you're an Israelite, if you look at the heathen, to the Akim, when they observe said person, we see the trace, man. Because go back to how we're talking to mention back in the 5th chapter. Ye are the salt of the earth. So you got many heathen looking persons, but through the Spirit they're Jake, man. Dua Lipa, she's in this flat, I believe. Freaking Ariana Grande. The other Apostle was making a mention now in the whole video how a lot of Southern Italians are Israelites, man. Right? A lot of Filipinos, most if not all, are Israelites. The other Apostle also making a mention. You got Jake all over, man. Right? So what's it called? Ariana Grande is from Italian from Sicily, if I'm mistaken. That's where her family comes from, Sicily. That's an Israelite, man. And because though she may be feminist, her music is freaking catchy, right? It's a lot. Let me just. I'm getting tired of me here. So you got Jake everywhere, man. And that ties back to Jeremiah the 12th chapter, if I'm mistaken. Going into our, hey, my heritage is likened to a speckled bird. All right, that word heritage means a lineage, right? And what's our line? So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? Hey, so just because you may be a tribe and you're looking at a different tribe that may appear differently, you guys are still the same nation, man. You know? Yeah, they're still the same nation. But you see that there's that envy and that hatred between Jake, man. And that's where you got these so-called Dominican and so-called Haitians, they fucking hate each other. But that's Levi and Simeon and Levi, man. And going back to Genesis, man, those are brothers that were their ride or dies, man. Those brothers love each other. And you're gonna see that in the kingdom, and when all things are perfected and reverted back, that hatred is gonna revert back to love. And you're gonna see, hey, they're gonna get on well just fine, man. Yeah. But see, it was a prophecy. I'm saying it was time about the Genesis, the 49th chapter, correct me if I'm wrong, going to how they would hate each other in the latter end. And we're at that latter end, man. The latter means at a later time. We're at this later time. Right? How about that back to Malachi the 4th chapter, verse 6, and he shall turn the heart of their father. And that word heart goes back to the Hebrew word lab, meaning mind. Right? The brain. All right, the mind, the consciousness. That is where the spirit resides. In the world, they got the understanding that the you part is your consciousness. And it's okay in the brain. That's because you are a spirit. Esau calls it a consciousness. Really, you're a spirit, man. It's really a spirit. And it's allocated in the brain. And that's why it's understood that this body is nothing but a organic soup, right? You know, this body is really temporal, man, because we're talking about reincarnation. That means you come back to a new body every single time. But in the kingdom, or it's like it's very similar how Shai comes back on the chariots. They talk Scripture just going to how we shall be changed into a twinkling of an eye. Meaning you get perfected midair. Midair, man. Now how crazy is that? So it's like something out of a movie. You know, like a transition where you see somebody manifest. You know, that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna be beamed up, and in mid-air, you're gonna change into a true God. Now, how great is that, man? I one of the precept, Psalms 82nd chapter verse 6. I said you are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. We're gonna be perfected, man. And that's what we hope for. Yeah, I remember the other apostle Orion Log made the mention how from the I don't want to put words in his mouth, so I'm gonna roughly paraphrase. He made something along the lines of, "From the second we're born, we're serving our punishment because you know this is nothing but like a slow death sentence. You know, every second we breathe, we're 1 second closer to our death, our demise. All right, that's why we get up old and age. We age and then we perish. Our body just can't keep on going anymore. You know, once the science of it, these anatomies, that's like anatomies. These cells within our anatomy, these cells always duplicate. But over time, it starts to get weaker and weaker, and that's when your skin starts to get all wrinkly and more, right? To the point where it just can't keep up itself anymore. Well, we're talking about those spiritual bodies, your cells will be perfected, right? That means there'll be no need for it duplicating and getting weaker and weaker over time to where you look somebody like old. No, because a true God is somebody that looks young for all eternity. So everything's to be perfected in our anatomy, man. From our freaking skeletal structures to our freaking cellular anatomy, everything, the whole nine will be perfected, man. As a matter of fact, number 9 represents a new beginning, a new life, and those bodies will be a new life, man. The nation of Israel. Because you see how messed up Jake is, man. Both morally speaking and physically, we're all deteriorating, and even then, Jake all fucking wicked. But that's why in the kingdom that would be like a new fresh start, right? The Lord would not look upon our iniquities anymore. Time out there, the first chapter made the mention how though your sins be as scarlet, yet shall they be white as snow, right? So our iniquities are not going to be remembered anymore. We're gonna be like we're gonna have a new fresh start, right? Nation of Israel, man. be the true gods we're supposed to be. Or else we shouldn't be called Yashar Allah. Yashar Allah, Yah means he, Shar means prince, Allah meaning God, power, prince of the power. If we're, our classification prior to us being known as the nation of Israel, we were known as the sons of God, and we still are by the way of the scriptures. So if we be the sons of God, we should be gods. Which we are gods, but we'll be true gods very soon in the kingdom. That's the freedom. I'm gonna tie it back. So that's what you gotta turn the heart of the fathers to the children. The hearts of the children to their fathers. Just like coming and smite the earth with the curse. And time after Isaiah 1:9, it makes mention now, though it's called also like except. I'm gonna put that actually. I don't want to keep butchering them. I prefer to bring out the scriptures instead of just mentioning them. Well, Isaiah the first chapter, verse 9, makes mention how except the Lord of hosts, Lord is in all caps, right? From Heavenly Father Yahweh. And you know the Lord of hosts because he's the power of the spiritual military man. Those are the angels. All right, people when they view an angel, they think of somebody kind of like a sweetheart, all kind and cuddly, lovely. But really, the angels, man, they're freaking man. The world like they like to call an angel. They like to refer to a woman as an angel, my darling angel. But an angel is a male title. It's a man title. And what's like Truly wondering how about Shmuel Shah Barakatah Khan. Trying to be back here every single week, man. Lord, will you be edified? Digressing back to a point, you know, an angel in the scriptures pertains to a man, right? You know, and these men, they're freaking terrible, man. There is a precept, I think it was in the book of Judges, the 13th chapter or so. They made the mention how, what's it called? They made the mention how, you know, it was a terrible sight to see the angel. Now, if an angel was terrible, how much more the Father? How much more the Son, right? So these angels, they're not your typical little loving sweethearts. You know, these angels are freaking terrible, man. And just by one angel wipe out the freaking the whole all militaries, man. Right? One single angel because they're in the spiritual bodies, and you can't penetrate it. You think some freaking bully will freaking penetrate an angel? Nah, that shit will only draw their attention, and you know that angel will freaking what's it called? Be your worst nightmare, man. Right? As a matter of fact, they are going to bring judgment by way of those chariots too. You know, because not only will that thermonuclear fire be done by way of those ICBMs, but also by way of those chariots. Because time after Isaiah the 66th chapter, verse 15 or so, they made the mention now. You know, they came as a whirlwind, render their fury with fire. I'm gonna pull that out actually. So it was in the same book, and because the prophet Isaiah, man, that book of the prophet Isaiah, that's a very spiritual book, man. You know, a lot of prophecies that come in here. It goes into World War III, the ICBMs, right? Many of that. Isaiah the 66th chapter, verse 15. For behold, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger, because the Lord ain't coming with fucking cookies and rainbows, man. The world always have to talk about the future's gonna be a beautiful day. Cookies and rainbows, freaking sunshine, lollipops, freaking, you know, whatever, the butterflies and popcorn. But Lord ain't coming with that, man. All right, Lord's coming down with what's called harsh retribution, harsh anger, right? It's gonna be a dreadful day. That's why time after die makes mention out the dreadful day of the Lord. You know, dreadful means to be freaking terrified, man. It freaking be scared of that day. Hell, we ourselves are scared of that day, man. Right? This scripture going into I forget what chapter it was in the book of Revelation. It made the chapter how what's it called? You know, they praise the Lord, and they're amazed with terror. Roughly paraphrase, because even the elect are going to be terrified, man, getting beaten up in those chariots. Like, God damn, it's actually happening. But at the same time, it's going to be a beautiful thing because that's the commence of something new. All right, that fire is a commence of something new. You know, one thing to know about is that fire acts as a purification. You know, when you burn an ingot like gold ingot in a furnace, you start to smelt it, and that fire tends to remove all its impurities away. Now, when it comes out, you have a fresh gold bar without impurities, man. All right. So think of the fire as a thermonuclear fire as a big old cleansing agent, as a Lysol spray, man. Lysol spray. You know, how about Shemir was shy? But only thing is, you're not gonna have a water droplet sprinkling down. That was a flood, man. Rain coming down, flooding the whole earth, man. That was an actual example of why I saw freaking it's affected spray. But this fire will act as that as well, But it won't be like water droplets. It's gonna be fire, man. You know, everything will burn because that ties back to Second Peter third chapter verse 10, right? Yeah, the elements shall melt with the fervent heat. What elements? These elements. Well, let's freaking I'm not sure you can see it. You got a what's it called? You got a fire hydrant. You know, you got all these trees, buildings. Even this flesh can be penetrated, man. Right? And you're gonna see a lot of that. Right? Those are the elements that I'm referring to with the fervent heat. Fervent meaning super duper hot. You see how oven get you do the studies on how high a temperature an oven can get. Now imagine that 144 times with the chariot with the, no sorry, with the thermonuclear destruction, which will encompass both chariots and fire and ice beams, man. That's gonna be freaking freaking hot, man. It's gonna get to the point where you'll be completely vaporized, man. That's how hot it will get. That ties back to second into the 13th chapter. Because how these militaries like your space force and your air force, they were scared, but they yet durst to fight against the Lord, and the Lord was to call spirit out with fire out of his mouth, and that fire consumed them, and they were made left as nothing. That was in the book of Second into the 13th chapter. I want to show how devastating these fires can be. So we're gonna say. And his chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. Right? And that's why I wasn't a deliberate elect, to keep reserved from that chariot loser too. Because I'm back to Isaiah the first chapter verse 9, and could the Lord of hosts have left unto us a very small remnant, and really it is a small remnant, because you have the like the analogy of a pie chart. You got the three pieces. Two parts will be cut off. That's in the book of Zechariah 13, chapter verse 8 on down. But one part shall be left therein. And that one part is a small number. 6.6 nation of Israel perished, man. And that remainder is that a small remnant. Remnant, elect, right? The chosen. All interchangeable. People always try to come up with these new definitions. Nah, this doesn't refers to this thing, and this chosen means this thing, and this. No, elect, what's it called? Elect, chosen, and remember they all mean the same thing, right? They're interchangeable with each other. Interchangeable means they're synonymous, and you can use them for the same reference. You can use it to reference the same thing. That's the nation of Israel. All right, but it makes mention how what was I? Yeah, we should have been like as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah, because the history on that, how that ended up burning, and that was because that's supposed to be an example of how not to live. But here it is, damn, this place is following in the same footsteps, man. All right, when there's a bad example, and punishment affects that said bad example, that's supposed to be an example unto the others to not repeat the same thing. Like what's it called? When you're younger and your brother does something stupid, and your parents, chastise your brother, a belt whipping to the butt. Now you guess I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to get hit. Same thing, man. But you see how these little buggers, these people walk in the same footsteps as Sodom and Gomorrah, right? These people walk in the same footsteps as those ancient cities, and that's why America is faces the same things, or the same punishment, but worse. Right? And America's gonna be an example for the future generations in the kingdom to not repeat the same fucking shit over again, man. You know? Keep in mind, Sodom and Gomorrah, they were just 5 city states. Because before what's it called? A country became a country with states or provinces, all federally, what's it called, governed by a certain government. You had city states. You had the city state of Athens and the city states of Sparta. So those are their own, what's it called, cities that acted as states with their own governments, their own militaries, and sometimes city states will fight against each other. That's how it was back in the ancient world. Now the city, that's a small freaking city, man. A city state. Yeah, that's the size of LA, perhaps. But now imagine that with the entirety of the country size. And not only here, but also in these other major cosmopolitan areas, man. China, Russia, right? Freaking Canada, the whole nine. Those are big. What's it called? Land masses, and they're all gonna get hit, man. Serving as examples of to the future heathen generations not to walk therein, and it will be in the kingdom where they're gonna keep the law, right? Because that ties back to the second chapter, man. I'm gonna pull it out actually. That's the next chapter. Because right now, this law ain't for the heathen. That's why going back to Psalms 147th chapter, around verse 19 or so, made the mention how Yahweh Shai has given us these statutes and these judgments to the nation of Israel. But unto the others, he had not dealt with them so. The Lord did not give the law to the heathen. That's why they're out there eating octopus and shit. But in the kingdom, they will keep the law. All right? Because keep in mind, every single kingdom that has ever fallen apart was due to bad leadership. Bad leadership played a part. You have people out here talking about was it the gas pipeline? No, it's like the water pipelines that flow through the cities of Rome that caused the collapse of the West Roman Empire? The answer is no. The Western Roman Empire, when people refer to the Roman Empire, I think of the Western Roman Empire, not regarding that there was an Eastern Roman Empire in the East, which modern day scholars refer to as the Byzantine Empire, right? So that the Roman Empire still existed even after the Western Roman Empire fell. If people think about the Roman Empire, they think about the Western. The Western Roman Empire fell in 476 AD, Anno Domini, meaning in the year of our Lord, not after death, in the year of our Lord. But it fell down in 476 AD because it was geographically at a disadvantage. First of all, by then, the territory of the Roman Empire was already so great. That's where we had Diocletian, the emperor. He ended up doing something known as a tetrarchy, which means the rule of four. So what happened is that you divide the kingdom into two sectors: the Western and the Western and Eastern Roman Empire. And within those sectors, you have two regions. So within the Western Roman Empire, you had one region and another region, and you have a junior and a senior emperor ruling in either region. And the same thing on the Eastern Roman Empire. That's one way you could govern the empire. But you see how what's it called by 476 AD? The governing of those of the land of the territory, plus barbarian raids, political instability, right? Economic problems. Because keep in mind, the Middle East was where it's at when it came to the Silk Road trade. Right, so with the Silk Roads, we had a trade routes that go from Asia and Southeast Asia, like in Indonesia and like the islands there, and they would flow through trade routes. You have the maritime trade routes and the overland trade routes. Overland trade routes from like China that would flow through Middle East. The maritime trade routes, which would flow from Indonesia through the coast of India, through the Arabian Sea, passing the Gulf of Aden, on onto the Red Sea, and they would either reach Egypt or the Levant, like Lebanon and Israel in the Middle East, because the Middle East was where it's at. That was like that center of Silk Road trade. So this will flow through there before reaching Europe, right? So you see how the Eastern European, it's like the Eastern Roman Empire was good because it was in the Middle Eastern part. So they were doing good with trade. But in the Western Roman Empire, it was not so. Right? You had a lot of barbarian raids as well. All right, barbarian raids being referring to the Germanic tribes. It was referred to the barbarians because back with the Greeks, they referred to any of the Germanic tribes that didn't speak their language as barbaric because their work, or not so I'm thinking pertaining to any other nation. Any nation around them that didn't speak Greek, whenever they speak in the native tongues, to the Greek, it's not like bar gibberish. That's what the term was coined, barbarian. And the Romans applied it to anybody that wasn't civilized. The Germanic tribes, because they're like tribes. They're more rural and nomadic compared to like Rome. With what's called beautiful structures and beautiful cities and a senate, a medical system, a government, a full pantheon of gods. And it wasn't it was still pagan, but what's it called? It wasn't as as savage, if you will, to the Germanic tribes. And that's the mentality Ethos always had. That's why even what's called when the British or the English rather, yeah, because the term British wasn't even coined till the 1700s during a certain treaty, and that's where Northern Ireland and all the United States Kingdom Island, like England, Wales, and I'm mistaken, Scotland, or I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. but they all became the UK, and that's where they started calling themselves the British. So even back then, back in colonial times, yeah, colonial times, or even prior to then, the Age of Discovery. Age of Discovery happening by way of Christopher Columbus, or his native name, Cristoforo Colombo, right? Or as we know, Christopher Columbus. And it was by way of him that you had all these other colonial powers. They come into the Americas, and when they saw Drake, the Northern Kingdom, they're like, oh, look at these savages, man. And it's even written in your Declaration of Independence, savage Indians, right? In anthropology, yeah, something was an anthropologist, or really anthropology, which encompasses a subset of many things. One of them is learning the culture. So these anthropologists, what they do is that they live with set of groups and learn their ways. They get to observe it and document it, right? As they were one of them. So the early anthropologists, what they would do is that they would go, visit these, Gadite tribes, so-called North American Native Indians, which really they're really the tribe of Gad, thus stated in this chart. But so they would visit these Gadite tribes, these sub tribes, and they thought that was just what we called you know, humans in their natural state. But no, they were wrong because it turns out that they actually had culture. Each of them had their own regulations. And that's where you find out, what's it called? Gad was either patrilineal or matrilineal. So that goes to show you how Gad was, bugging out. What's it called in the Americas, man? A lot of killing each other, a lot of fucked up laws. Yeah, Gad out there that was called Gad was sharing wives, man. That's something Ham does. But yeah, Gad, they was messing up, man. But the point is, anthropologists started to see how a lot of these sub tribes within Gad, they had their own culture, man. But their whole doctrine was, that was savagery, that was uncivilized. All right, that's the mentality Esau's always shared, that he's in, that he's the most civilized, right, and that everybody else isn't. All right, and that ties back to this pride. If Esau has a pride for many, but going back to or Isaiah Isaiah the 14th chapter, no, Salaki, the book of Obadiah, it makes a mention how thy pride has deceived thee. Because reality, the only barbaric dude here is Esau Edom. He ain't truly civilized. To be truly civilized, you have to live by the law. Law of not your laws, the biblical laws, man. And see, going back to the point, each kingdom that ruled was due to bad leadership, bad qualities, bad regulations, draconian measures. You see riots, rebellions. The ancient Assyrian Empire, they collapsed because around 700, like 710 or so BC, or before Yahushua, that you saw a lot of protests, riots, rebellions from subjugated peoples against the government because they saw how messed up the leadership was, man. That's the common thing that causes the kingdom to fall. Bad leadership, and that's what the heathen and the rest of the heathen have. They bad leadership, and that ties back to why Sarah the 10th chapter makes mention how you know the kingdom is translated Salaki, and on why his kingdom destroyed his people. I'll figure that out. That's in the book of Sarah the 10th chapter. I'm gonna start at verse 1. Why is judge, and that word why is capitalized, and that word why is means someone that has accumulated knowledge and understanding, experience, and an arena to be able to discern certain matters. That really pertains to the elect, all right? Because they have the true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding which is found within these books, the Holy Bible, and the Apocrypha, which back prior to late 1800s when Esau removed it due to a so-called publication costs, these used to be joined together. These used to be together, man. But the only reason why Esau removed it is because it exposed the truth of who Esau Edom is, and also because a lot of the doctrines, or like a lot of the prophecies in this book, they're called apocalyptic. They're scary, and the whole premise of a lot of these modern day denominations within the Christian church is peace and love. So if they were to actually, which the Catholic Church does include Maccabees, right? But not every single denomination, because it goes against their doctrines of peace and love, whereas the scriptures go otherwise. These scriptures are terrible, man. They go into a multitude of bad things, man. Right? You know, a lot of war, destruction. You got accounts of what's it called? The Lord commanding Saul. You had an account of the Lord commanding Saul. What's it called? Slay utterly old and young in the city of Amalek, man. Right? So now how gruesome was that, man? Just really show you how terrible things were back in the ancient world. And that goes to show you how things differ in this society compared to back then. Everybody in this society is soft. Well, first and foremost, here in America, that wouldn't be great. You see how it is. Going to the news, these other countries, they be showing freaking, you know, they show corpses on news, man. And they don't do that here in America. They blur everything. You know, they may say, we're going to show you a clip. They don't show you a clip. They show you a censored image, a censored still or a censored video with somebody narrating what's happening in the video. You know, I thought you were going to show the video. They show us the actual video. Really show you how soft and effeminate society really is. Especially what's called by way of the alphabet community, man. You know, we bring out something and they call us bigots. They call us freaking, they call it insults. Hey, motherfucker, you're an idiot for that, man. You know, how are we an insult? How are we a bigot? So like, you know, we are bigoted. But how do you have the audacity to cause these things, man? You know, really, what you do is it convey a message, right? You know, you don't got what's it called? I can purposely going out, being pretentious and like getting under people's skins, like, I don't see this, do that. You know, when we come out here to prophesy, what's it called? It's because our job to do so, man. You know, and they got people started coming up. People start coming up and they start what's it called condemning us. You guys are Satan. Satan. These are not the doctrines of Christ. Yeah, we're not supportive of Christianity because we know the history behind it. There's a lot of paganistic what's it called additions to it, and that's been that way since Constantine the Great made Christianity the religion of the state. And after him, was it it's like you have the Council of Nicaea, and that was when you had like the various beliefs, various denominations, and then ultimately it was Theodosius. Correct me if I'm wrong, I said the name correctly. Theodosius was one of the emperors in the Byzantine Empire, aka the Eastern Roman Empire. Again, as well as the Byzantine Roman Empire, because it was to distinguish the Eastern from the West. You know, with the Byzantine Empire. When Christianity became the same religion, Theodosius, I believe, was the first. He ended up to Christianize more people. He essentially added the Saturnalia, which people call Christmas, into this thing. All right, so they try to make things more lenient for the people, and that's an example of bringing traditions of men. So I could show you how modern day Christianity, you know, it's against the scripture, against the teachings. All right, the modern day Christianity, it goes against the teachings of Yahweh Shai and the apostles, man. All right, and on down. All right? As a matter of fact, the fact that they split up so many times, so we have hundreds of denominations like Lutheranism, Protestantism, Catholicism, all Jehovah's Witnesses. Those are all Christian denominations. The fact that they split apart goes to show you how bugged out Christianity really is. Remember, whereas what's it called? With this truth, man, we teach the same true doctrine that the apostles and others on down from Great Millstone have been teaching, man. All right, which you do got Jay, what's it called, that come out here and they start making hearsay. But that's because the Lord bugs them out. But what's it called? Compared to Christianity, modern day Christianity, you see how what's it called? Things are more locked in with this actual truth that we teach than what now is Christianity. They bugging out, contradicting each other, coming up with some bullshit progressive doctrines like women can teach and gay marriages is acceptable. That ain't freaking acceptable. Oh yeah, but the scriptures, they pertain to those times, motherfucker. We are in those times, man. The elder Malcolm was going into how we're still in biblical times. If we're in biblical times, why are we still in captivity? Why aren't we in the kingdom? Why aren't we perfected? Why are there still what's it called militaries, man? I thought in the kingdom. I thought in the kingdom it said that all nations, all heathen nations shall neither learn war anymore, but they shall beat their swords in the plowshares, and their spears in the pruning hooks. Meaning they're getting ready for servitude. But here it is. They got what's it called? You got the UN. And one thing the UN does is they got peace mission. I forget what they call it, the peace operations or something like that. Where they started distributing a lot of UN soldiers into various parts, and they may carry arms, but they don't use them because they're only there to keep diplomacy and peace. You know, hey, where's your Howard Shy at? I thought you said I thought you said we're not in biblical times anymore. We're still in biblical times. What was it? Howard Shy would have been back. And I thought it's back to the dream Nebuchadnezzar had in Daniel the second chapter. That stone that was written without hand, that smote the image. That's how it was shy. You can receive it, but he ain't back here yet. We're still in wickedness, man. I thought the apostle Peter made the mention how the kingdom will be what's it called will be established in a new heavens and a new earth. We're in lay of righteousness. Ain't no fucking righteousness here, man. So see, this whole freaking place is bugged down, and Jake is fucking stupid and butthurt, and they don't support the scriptures. They reject it. That's why they come up with a lot of these doctrines, talking about during the Bible times. So they use that as an excuse to get their way. Oh, we're not in Bible times anymore, so I can eat pork. I could commit adultery, some shit like that. But what's it called? Yahweh Shai, said otherwise. What's it called? I'm gonna pull it out actually in the book of Matthew, the 5th chapter. You guys call yourself Christians, man. Why aren't you doing the law? Why aren't you keeping the laws, man? You know? You guys call yourself Christians, right? Revelation, I believe the 21st or 22nd chapter. Also in the first chapter, all right, John the 14th chapter, made the mention how we're supposed to keep laws. I believe it was in one of the epistles of Peter or so, or in a different epistle. They made the mention how Yahweh Shai was an example for us to walk in. Yahweh Shai kept the law, how much more us? We're supposed to keep the law, man. Matthew the 5th chapter, verse 17. Think not, and this is in the red letter. Red letter means Yahweh Shai spoke it. These are his words. See that? And see how it differs from the black letter? Now tell me it's the same thing, ain't the same thing. So it makes a mention how, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I have not come to destroy. And see, I could show you how a lot of these prophecies, they're not done away with yet. And people on Quora talking about how the prophecies of Isaiah, they failed. They're not failed prophecies. How are they the prophets of the Lord, but they were falsely prophesying? That makes no sense. And please, in Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter, or so, correct me if I'm wrong, it made them mention how the prophet that prophesies something and it's not going to pass, that's not a prophet of the Lord, and you shall slay him. But the prophet Isaiah is a prophet of the Lord. But the thing is, prophecy takes time. It could be a day from now. It could be a week from now. It could be a year. It could be 1,000 years from when it was said. Isaiah 4:1 still ain't accomplished, right? Where is that in the historical matters? One thing the Apostle Paul made to mention now is you can't learn the mystery of these scriptures, right? You can't learn the mystery until you. It's like you can't know the mystery until you learn the history. The history of what? History in general, man. The historic context often, what's it called, supports, or the verses, man. It helps you to distinguish what it's talking about. Like Revelation, the 20th chapter, when it says 1,000 years, you have people talking about what's it called, it refers to only the kingdom. No, it refers to two separate 1,000 years, man. 1,000 years back in the ancient Rome and 1,000 years in the kingdom. And that first 1,000 years took place in the Byzantine Empire. All right, because if you can understand it, the Byzantine Empire, which is the East Roman Empire, ruled for a little over than 1,000 years. And again, that's because the Lord does not deal with the exact numbers. It's around that time frame, but not deal with exactly so. All right, it felt like it lasted for like 1,123 years or so. Perfect, mom. It fell down in 1453 by way of the Ottoman Empire, and those Turkish Ottomans, those are Edomites, right? So Mehmet II, the Sultan of that empire that laid siege against Constantinople, which was the strategical city and capital of the Byzantine Empire. That the Sultan Mehmet II, that was an Edomite, and they conquered Constantinople. And when they conquered Constantinople, because by 1401 CE or AD, I don't know, by 1401, the Byzantine Empire was already at its smallest compared to when it controlled a major portion of the known world at the time. It controlled part of the Peloponnese island in Greece and the strategic city known as Constantinople, which when Sultan Mehmet II of the Ottoman Empire took over the city,
he basically decimated the Byzantine Empire, killed or enslaved the people in that city, and what's it called? They also absorbed a lot of the Orthodox Christians, a lot of the Muslims in the area, right? So that did away the Byzantine Empire. And like the other Apostle Tahar mentioned, the Ottoman Empire, those are Edomites. And the second was an Edomite, right? Suleiman, magnificent. Though he may seem so magnificent because he created a law that benefited the people, that'll make him an Israelite, man. He's still an Edomite. I'm not saying correct me if I'm wrong enough. Yeah, because he was ascended from one of the prior sultans. Correct me if I'm wrong. So what was it called? That was an Edomite Empire. And then after the Byzantine Empire fell down, I believe it was in the 1300s. There was no exact start date. That's when the Renaissance came about, and that was around the time. That was around the time the Byzantine Empire fell, and the Renaissance means the rebirth, and the Spanish means renacimiento. Shalom, Yahweh, Shemel, Shabbat, Rakatha, is every line. Hope we be edified. It's called after around that time frame the Byzantine Empire fell, which is in the 1400s or the 15th century, because again, a century, like the year 1500, it's really the years leading up to that specific year. So the 15th century really refers to the 1400s, up to the year 1500, right? And it was around that time frame. Or it's like, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was the 1300s, the 14th century, the 1300s. That's when the Renaissance actually kicked off, and then it started what's called climaxing around around mid 1400s, correct me if I'm wrong. And that's the Renacimiento in Spanish is Renaissance, which translates to rebirth, because that was a rebirth of Esau, coming back into power. No more Jake, what's it called, Esau coming to power. And it's been that way up to this point, right? Because America is that little horn down in the 7th chapter, that extension of the ancient Roman Empire. And that Roman Empire is connotated with the fourth beast. So we just still that fourth beast, man. So where's Yahweh Shai at? So again, prophecy ain't been fulfilled yet, man. We're still waiting on Yahweh Shai. But I digress. Back to Lockton. Matthew the 5th chapter verse 17. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Right? The law. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall no wise pass me. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. And that ties back to Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter, verse 9, going to how I shall give them praise and fame in the lands where they put the shame. And that sounds poetic. That is poetic. And the fact that it's going to come true is even more poetic than ever. Right? Right? And that's one to what's it called? Hey, we're teaching this truth. Lord will us men to get delivered, and we'll be called great for it. Right? Hey, because this is a noble work. We're not nobles in a physical sense, but we are nobles in the spirit, right? Because we know this is really a beautiful thing. Not all of Jake can do this thing. Not a lot of Jake can come out to the highways and hedges and teach, right? We've been called, man. Now, how great is that, man? We've been called. Let's keep on enduring and make sure that we be chosen. Because again, going back to it was Philippians or Philemon, I forget, it makes a mention how seek out your own salvation, man. Right? With all diligence, man. Right? This teaching, man, it's really a noble work. And you have to be chosen, man. Chosen out of the many to receive this truth, and the Lord will be chosen to be delivered, man. And also, a noble is a high-ranking man. Now, how great is that, man? The elect, they're going to be the 144,000 servants of the 144,000 servants of prophets. They're going to be the ruling government, judging the whole nation of Israel, man. Those are going to be the heads, man. That's the Israelite government. Ain't no Sexy Red, ain't no the baby, ain't no NBA YoungBoy, ain't none of these guys, ain't none of these clowns. What's it called? Gonna be leaders. They have to be led. And who are the leaders of the nation? It's like the elect within the nation of Israel, man. Yeah, I actually brought out precepts. And be found not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Right, Khan. What's it called? Yeah, Jake out here. You know, they be taking heed to Esau be saying, man. You know, they be choosing his ways, his doctrines, his philosophies, right? And they also be envying the oppressor, man. You know, because what's it called? They live luxuriously. You know, but we know that going out to Micah the second chapter verse 10, we're supposed to depart for this is not our rest, right? Uh, we got our riches, our lifestyle in the kingdom, man. And that ties back to doing this work. You know, you do this work, and what does he saw? He gives you all your desires. Because again, I believe the Psalm 37 chapter made the mention how light yourself in the Lord, and the Lord shall give you their desires, man. You know? Well, yeah, I can borrow another precept. It was in the book of Daniel, the second chapter, verse 43. And where I saw it's like Khan. Hey, time back to the ancient Roman Empire, man. It's called, which is still, once again, right now. So I did not mean to make the mention ancient Roman Empire. Because you got two Roman empires. One was the ancient Roman Empire, and one is the right now part, right? One is America, because America falls in the footsteps of these ancient Roman empires, man. Like again, it falls in the footsteps of Sodom and Gomorrah. That's why it's supposed to get punished in the first place, man. You know, a lot of the culture around it revolves around ancient civilizations, man. Right? And it's revived because Esau wants to bring about that system. Look at the architecture, man. Now, I'm not sure you can see it, but there's a building on the corner, and it has a chiseled pillar. I believe they're Dorian style chiseled pillars because within the Greek architecture, you got three types of pillars. You got a Dorian one, a Corinthian one, and there's another one. But I believe there's a Dorian style chiseled pillars, and that's an example of the ancient Greek Empire, man. And even then, with the ancient Roman Empire, they adopted a lot of the tactics they adopted from previous kingdoms like the Greeks, man. Right? You know, and that's America right there. It adopts. That's what we know as a great melting pot. You know, what's it called? Melting pot referring to a culmination of all cultures mingled into one. So you see a lot of things. Yeah, Chinatown, man. Chinatown in LA and NYC. That's an example of adopting, man, of adopting other cultures. You know? And that's what the ancient Roman Empire did, and that's what America does right now. Right? Philippians the second chapter, verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, and that beloved because it ties back to an elect, man. You know, you're not gonna call some random clown off the street, my brother. You know, the older Menatazakba was making the mention now. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but something along the lines of, if we're not in agreement, you know, you're not my brother, right? Can two walk together unless they agree? The answer is no. All right, two cannot walk together unless they agree. You know, so if people can't take heed to the doctrines that the men of the Lord that great most on down and teach, then you're not my brother, right? What's it called? Yahweh Shai from second even mention how be not unequally yoked with unbelievers. You could apply that to unbelievers that don't believe in the doctrines we teach, because they're out there thinking some other doctrines, and if they teach other doctrines that are not the truth, now it ain't the truth anymore. You know. Come on, what's it called? Slack and continue on. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as my friends only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Come on. Or what's it called? Yeah, because that goes to show you the sincerity and the faith of those men back in the ancient, right? Because what's it called? They did what was commanded of them, even without the Apostle Paul being on the scene. That's what we're supposed to be. And that ties back to the book of James, the first chapter, for mistaken, or around one of those chapters makes mention now, be ye doers and not hearers. You know, I'm gonna put that out actually in the book of James. Because yeah, Jake that come here like, oh yeah, this is true, this is right. But then they walk away and then they forget. It's like they never even pulled up. Right? It's like they never even heard to begin with that. All right. Check out with you. All right. Yeah, come on. This is the book of James, the first chapter, and I start at verse 21. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity, of naughtiness. Yeah, put away all this what's called wickedness, which you be doing, especially in this flesh, because this flesh is not for the script. It's not for the righteousness, man. All right, this flesh, it wants to do wickedness, man. Hey, but what did the apostle Paul make the mention? Hey, mortify these deeds, mortify your members, man. Right? Mortify means to kill or subjugate. We're supposed to enslave the body parts, man. And we're supposed to, what's it called, be firm, level-headed, to not conform to temptation. And temptation starts up in the mind, man. You gotta sway with these ideas. Man, I should do this. You have to realize, have a mind full of clarity, and realize this is not right? You know. And that's why what's it called? We pray. How about Shaki the Spirit on us, man? All right, you don't pray. Prayer is like a protection, man. It's protection, and it withholds you from what's it called going on. The we're going to go out, but what's it called? It's like a protection, protect you from, taking into to temptation. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. Right? This word is able to save our souls. No? Be doers of the word. And what's one thing that word says? Actions speak louder than words. Right? So we're supposed to speak through our actions, man. And not just say, hey, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And you're supposed to show it, man. It was called the times I can want to do something, but to show their faith, they do it because they know they have to. Be doers of the word and not hearers only. And what's one of the words, man? Hey, the laws. We're supposed to keep the laws. Yeah, motherfuckers out here talking about what's it called? I don't have to keep the law. Then you should be ashamed of yourself for calling yourself a Christian. Which we know, true Christian is someone that follows Yahweh Shai, man. And you should be ashamed of yourself for using that title if you're not going to actually, take. And not here is only deceiving your own selves. And you guys deceive your own selves, man. Now you guys think yourself to be religious, man. Deep down you're not, because you're not sincere, right? Hey, that ties back above in the chapter. I believe it's verse 26 and 27. It makes the mention how if any man among you seem to be religious, and like the other apostle Gabar broke down, the term religious means servitude, right? If you're actually down for Yahweh Shai, what's humanity? Look at our forefather Abraham, man. Abraham, what's it called? Was told to offer up Isaac, as an offering to Yahweh, the Heavenly Father. We know Isaac is Yahweh Shai, the reincarnation, and that example, emphasizes even more. Because again, history repeats itself. Yahweh Shai died on that cross. He was an offering for Yahweh, the Heavenly Father. And the only laws in the world are the sacrificial laws. Right, so you see that connotation between Isaac and Yahweh Shai, which is the same individual, the same spirit. Right? And you see how even if it meant harming his own son, his own biological son, he still went on and did it. He's like, I'm off of this thing because that was a man of the Lord. Abraham was a man of the Lord, man. But you see how the Heavenly Father, what's it called, stopped him last second, but that was to show you his faith. We're supposed to be in like manner, man. I had that faith. Jacob had that faith. And much that one verse, they honor the Lord with the lips, but the hearts are far from them. And bridle not his tongue, and bridle because you got a horse. One thing about a horse is that when you use like a horse like you don't just command it by words. Say, hey, go here. Unless you train them up, because animals they actually understand words of the spirit, and even then you could teach animals certain words. Or like a dog, you could tell a dog stand up, and the dog stands up, but it takes time and training, patience, practice, skill. Practice is the father of all skill, right? But you don't necessarily just go up to a horse and tell him, all right, take me here. No, that's like you see. You have like a bridle. You hook it up to his face. And then it connects to the little rope that you have, and you're able to sway him. All right, you tug him this way, and he goes that way. You tug him this way, he goes that way. Right? And you see how a horse, they submit. It doesn't bother them that they have to get yanked. Like, oh man, I don't want to do it. They do it. They do it. Because they're in submission. We're supposed to be in submission when it comes to religion. We being religious, we're in submission to Yahweh Shai. So we're like horses. We get swayed. That's how it's supposed to be. All right, and by not his own tongue, but deceive with his own heart, this man religion is vain. Vain meaning brought to naught, meaning nothing. It's really useless to call yourself, so and so, without showing it. Pure religion and undefiled before power and the Father is this: to visit the fatherless and widow in their affliction, and to keep himself as far from the world. And what's one of the commands we be commanded to do? Come out here to the highways and hedges and teach. We are visiting the fatherless, man. Whether it be over the internet or actually out here, man. You got to actually come up here and they actually consider. And then we tell them, they may ask for your channel, and that's what we do. We put them on the channels. They can see the videos and be edified, right? But digressing back to verse 22. But be ye doers of the word, and out here is only deceiving your own self. And I speak to myself first and foremost, man. And that's what we're all. That's what we all. That spirit. Whenever we command something, we speak to ourselves first, or not command, but encourage rather yet. We encourage actively blasphemy. We speak to ourselves first and foremost, man. You know, because then we be hypocrites. We say something, but we don't do it. But Yahweh showed me to mention we're not supposed to be hypocrites. Hey, behold, the speck in your eye before you what's it called? You call it that look in your brother's eye. Well, you perfect, man. Hey, meaning what's it called? Self-examine yourself before you self-examine before you judge another Aki, because what's it called? You may be doing the same freaking mistake, man. You know, talking about how we're not supposed to wear tank tops. We're not supposed to wear tank tops. I can't. But then you could be one that's actually wearing a tank top. Just like a random example. So what's it called? You're supposed to take you to that self yourself first and foremost, man. If any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. Or beholdeth himself and goeth his way and straightway forget what man he was. But when you hear this word, you're supposed to, what's it called, absorb, man. It's just like how you absorb the knowledge in the book. Well, this is a book, man. You absorb the knowledge from this book, which is relayed, vocally, orally to the mouth of the prophets, man. And even then, there'd be certain scriptures that are, certain thoughts that are not in the scriptures, or are supported and backed by the scriptures, which are spoken of the mouth of the prophets, and you take each of those too, right? Certain things the apostles have made mention that are not in the scriptures, they're supported by it, but they're not directly from the scriptures. Hey, you take it to that as well, man. Right? I'm gonna digress back. Going back to my point. That's the 5th chapter, verse 17. So again, think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets, and I come to destroy but to fulfill. So we're supposed to, take heed as well to this day, and really blessed are we if we do this, right? Because we understand, don't we understand the backlash we face with, the sorrowful things that come with this truth. Yet we know in the kingdom we shall be compensated, man. That's the book of Revelation, the 1st chapter. All right, verse 3. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep from this sense, do right in this sense to do it. So keep those things which are written there, for the time is at hand. And what's at hand? Destruction. Because don't we might know that our what's it called day that coming, we know it's very soon. All right, we know destruction is very soon. One of the Akhbar precept. But ask now the beast, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall teach thee. Come on. And I was actually meditating on that too. What's it called? All these animals, they could teach you a lot, man. All right. What's it called? You had examples of the gorilla, man. You had an orangutan that got a cut on his face. He was munching on some herbs, mixing it around, spit it out, rubbed it on his face. A week later or so, that wound was gone. And you can see that pink fresh flesh from inside his face. It was really exposed. You know, that could have been scarred, but you know, you see how with the herbs it put with the herbs. Not I don't like to refer to animals as its. Those are actual you know, those are actual living beings, and it refers to something that's inanimate. So to refer to an animal as an it doesn't seem right. You know, that's a he or she. Those are living spirits, man. Right? So you had a them, right? Because I'm not sure the gender of the animal, right? But what's it called? That orangutan, they had put on their face, you know, that herb, that mushed up herb, and it acted as a cream, so it could heal the body. It could heal the face and teach people, man. You see how they work together, and that goes to show you the simplicity and the bugged out and fucked up nature of the human mind. It will show you how messed up people are without the truth, man. You know, without any proper guidance. She was going to how there's a priest in the book of Proverbs. I forget which chapter it's going into. Um, where there is no counsel, the people fall. Right? A counsel meaning advice. That's where you have advisors, you know, leaders. Well, you see how this damn devil ain't no fucking leader. More so the heathen in general. As a matter of fact, um, in South Africa, I believe as a president, one thing that they're doing is a expropriation act, wherein they take land, private lands. They could take your land, but for public use. I'm not sure there's any compensation to the owners, but there should be compensation because it's not your fucking land. You're just taking that, you know. So as an expropriation act, and that's kind of that's unjust too. At least compensate, man. At least give the compensation, you know, whether by some money, because a lot of people would take money nowadays, man. You know, and even that's how Esau rose, man. You know, like back in industrialization, he was an economic hitman, offered them a sum of money, you know, to the owners to take land, right? That's what an economic hitman is. Somebody that offers money on behalf of a government. So listen, as a delegate, they offer money to a owner in exchange for the land. That's what Esau would do. You know, but Esau even is messed up, man. You know, Esau, you know, destroyed his people. So do a lot of these heathen, you know, governments, man. And that's why they're not predictable, man. We see how it is as age throughout this past several thousand years of human existence, or you know, of recorded history rather yet. You see how messed up things got, right? You see how bad leadership qualities affect. That's the whole premise, man. Bad leadership, man. You see how it affects the people in a negative way. That leads to destruction. Proverbs the 14th chapter makes the mention. Verse 12 it made the mention how there's a way we shouldn't have, but isn't there. Proverbs 14 and 12. There is a way. Actually, I'm sorry, verse 11. The house of the wicked shall be overthrown. First and foremost, Esau and the rest of the heathen, and even the 2/3 of our people, because hey, they're spiritual heathen, man. They love on the ways of the heathen. You know? But when it comes to someone of the same nation, like Miyake, like another Lord, like another Lord, like nah, not him. Oh no, he's just another nigga. No, you're a nigga, right? But this man, that's a man of the Lord. Hey, see, we're supposed to do things on a spiritual level. All right, the scripture is going to how be not carnal but spiritual. For carnality is enmity, meaning engagement against the Most High. Time at the first Samuel the 15th chapter, or so many 35 years around there. Or I don't think it's the right chapter. Somewhere in First Samuel made the mention how the Lord does not see as man see. The Lord looks on the inward man, on the inward part, meaning He looks in the spirit, because you are the spirit. That's what we have the saying in the world: ugly or beautiful on the inside, but you know, on the that's what they have the saying: beautiful on the inside, but ugly on the outside, right? The outside, because we're not supposed to pay attention to the outside, we're supposed to pay attention on the inside. You know, just because this man may not look like an educated man, a certified man, does not mean that you could proclaim. All right, not even presumptuous, man. You're not supposed to assume. But really, this man could be what's it called? This man is a man of the Lord, man. Right? It may not look like it. So digressing back to the house. So you know, Jay don't like the men of the Lord, man. You know, they really hate him. It has been that way throughout history. Digressing back, the house of the wicked shall be overthrown, but the tabernacle of the upright shall flourish. You know, so you know, everything that's contrary to the elect, Every non-elect man is gonna face retribution, man. But the elect, their tabernacle, the house of David, man. The tabernacle means a home and inhabitants. The tabernacle of the upright shall flourish. The elect are known as the house of David. That's what they're referring to. The house of David shall flourish, and they shall be acknowledged in the kingdom, shall receive praise and fame and recognition. Michael Jackson style, man. One of the elders always make that mention. You know, they always bring out Michael Jackson as an example. Michael Jackson in this time, he went to a hotel one time, and there was like half the city, you know, pulled up outside out of his hotel room to see him. You know, that's how it's gonna be. But like, there is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the men are the ways of death. Right? The philosophies, right? The teachings of the wicked, they shall lead into death, because they're the left-handed ways, not the true ways of righteousness. The true ways of righteousness are this, you know? It opposes the law, it's not for it. And when you say in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, that what you call it makes mention of, all right. It makes mention in Proverbs the 3rd chapter, and also other very precepts. It goes into how keep the law, bind it upon thy neck, for it shall get thee long life to be perfect. Right? This leads to truth. This leads to life. Whereas these other ways lead to death. You know, these other ways, those are man ways. You know, but these are really the laws, man. Or like these ways continue with the laws. You know, inspired from Yahweh Shema Shai and how to live by. The ways that please him. Hey, 2 Timothy the 3rd chapter verse 16 make the mention how all scripture is inspired by God for profitable for reproof, correction, and instruction in righteousness, that the man of Yahweh Shai may be truly furnished into all good works. These books are supposed to what's it called help better us, man. And if you ain't being better by this truth, man, then that's a sign that you're not the elect. The other apostle Ryan was going into that. How we're not seeing growth, you're not the elect. All right, that's how scary things get, man. Because even just knowing an Israelite don't mean shit, man. Knowing you're an Israelite doesn't mean shit until the Lord gives you the truth and the Spirit to actually reform your ways, man. That's what we're about. You made the cut, but you're an Israelite, but you know if you're not doing the works, that's a problem. So like, let me just make sure my batteries get crap. Lock it. Right on 1%. That's a spirit, man. That's a spirit. Hey, Slock it. All right, 1% is charging. That's the spirit. It's on 1%. Oh man. God loves you, bro. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Slock. Yeah, that was really how about Shema try hey, what's it called? Having me hook up the battery thing. 2%. It was on 1%, man. Damn. Call halal Yomai Yahweh Hashem shot for that, man. All right. Yeah, but going back, hey, these scriptures are supposed to better us, man. Because this is wisdom right here. Wisdom is written right here. Right? You know, Habakkuk the 2nd chapter verse 3 makes mention now. For though the vision yet tarry, wait for it. If you didn't know any better, if you didn't read that precept, you think otherwise. Oh man, why is this taking forever? I'm a bug out. This truth ain't real because there's no prophecies coming on the scene. But the scriptures say, wait for it. Now that's counsel, man. That's guidance. You know, that's an example of wisdom right there. You know, but I digressing back. I'm gonna go back to what was written. My part of the book is 2 Timothy, right? So that's the precept I was going to get out. So it was 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter, verse 16. All right. Slovakia. 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter, verse 16. All scripture is given by inspiration. Yahweh Shai is profitable for us. You know, a prophet, an example. You know, the business world, man. Business world. You sell like a bag of chips or whatever. for a certain price, you know, what's it called? You make a profit off of it, whether it be a good profit or a bad profit. You know, the example the world likes to use in the business world is buy low, sell high. So like when you're selling chips or whatever as an ice cream vendor or whatever, you go to the Sam's Club or Costco, you buy a box of chips for like $5 or whatever, I don't know, and you sell each little bag for a certain value, a certain price, and then once you finish all that box, you make more money than what you originally used on buying, right? As an example of profit. In this case, man, this thing is profitable for us, man, to better ourselves, man. You know, there's no negative connotation, you know, when it comes to growing in this truth. You know, all right, because going back to Psalms 1:1, you grew up as a tree, man. All right, an upright man. You know, I can come in here from all walks of life, like gangsters and whatnot, and when they come into this truth, now look at them. It's as if though they were not even, you know, gangsters to begin with, man. You know, it's like they were born to this thing, man. You know. And you speak to Jake in the world, you see how bugged out they are, and they got their own like what's it called, ideologies, and when I was all bugged out, and you see how emotional they get, right? Yeah, like little children, you know, like 37 years old or whatever. Yeah. But when you speak to one of the Aki, man, you see how different it is. You see how their spirit, man. You see how different it is to interact. It's as though they were always in the spirit, man. And it's supposed to be doctrine, reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. Because again, these are the ways of righteousness. And this is our instruction. All right, the Israelite man's instruction. It's time out to address the 12th chapter, verse 13. All right, fear Yahweh, keep his commandments. That's Takish. That's for the whole creation of man. Fear Yahweh and keep his commandments. That is the whole creation of man. So the reason to say a command of Yahweh will be perfect, will be transferred to other words. And see, so this word is gonna what's it called, carry over to the kingdom. But even the heathen have to keep the law, man. So listen to the book of Isaiah, the 2nd chapter. It makes mention how verse 4. And he shall judge the nation of Israel shall judge among the nations, and they shall slack it, verse 3. And many people going to the heathen shall go and say, come ye and let us go to the mountain of the Lord, all right, to the house of the power of Israel. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his path. Remember this law. But Zion shall go forth the law. Yeah, Zion being another term for the nation of Israel, man. Because like Yawan, meaning a monument, the Lord remembers our people. He always remembers our people, man. You know, he remembered us in captivity back in Egypt. He remembers us right now in this captivity. And we're just waiting for prophecy to carry out so he can deliver us, man. Hey, because he does see us, man. You know, going with the scriptures, going Proverbs, the eyes of the Lord behold the good and the evil, right? Lord will we be the good man, you know? But it goes on to say, verse 4, and ye shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many peoples, and they shall be their swords and the plowshares. Meaning they're getting ready for servitude, man. You have a book in the book of Joel. You have a verse in the book of Joel going on how they shall beat their plowshares and the swords and the pruning hooks and spears. But that's because they're getting ready for war. The Lord must the host of battle without World War III. This verse is post-war. It's in the kingdom. So when we come into power, all you heathen nations will bow down, you know, be submitted for all eternity. You know, you're gonna serve the nation of Israel. All right, because believe it or not, slavery is gonna die. Or servitude is gonna die, man. You know? And you see it on this side in the sense of maids. All right, maids and housekeepers, gatekeepers from these rich people areas, man. You know, you got a lot of kids that work as maids, man. That's an example of a servant. And that's coming back. We're talking about how slavery and servitude, you know, it's not going to come back. It is going to come back. Which actually, you might, with the other apostles talking to mention, slavery is servitude, man. A slave is a servant. Because going back to the history, the word slave goes back to the Slavic people when they were enslaved. All right, because it wasn't just only nation of Israel being subjugated. Throughout history, we'd always have slaves, but it wasn't in the sense of slavery as it is right now, where it's all by a certain nation. But back then, in the ancient world, So anybody could be a servant, a debt, a servant's debt, right? A servant because they can't sustain their family, so they serve another person. Right? There's any reason why people will go to slavery, will go to servitude or slavery because it's honest with each other. You know, what's it called? A prisoner of war would be a servant, a slave. And that's where we have the distinction between slavery and chattel slavery because chattel means property. So slave like hardcore bondage, hardcore slavery, where the slave was actually treated as a property and you could beat him down. Like it goes back in a couple hundred years ago with Silent Kingdom, that is going back for 1,000 years in the kingdom of Babylon. But even after that, all the nations were still servicemen. But you're not going to get your ass kicked after that. Not going to keep. You're not going to get your ass kicked as it would be in the first in the 1,000 years in the kingdom. Now, unless you do break the law, because we're going to be affected, not the heathen. They're going to keep the law, but they're still going to be in this flesh. If one of them breaks the law, that's going to be an example of capital punishment. You know, if some Moabite commits adultery, what's he called? With the some Moabite woman commits adultery with another man. That's not her husband. What's it called? Those who get put to death, man. So we're gonna be carrying out capital punishment, like as true judges, right? The Alayam, the Godship, right? The Hahakam, correct me if I'm wrong, it's Hahakam in the Hebrew, referring to priestship. And I forget what the word for judgeship is. No, it's like Shapatiyam, the judgeship, because we're gonna be true judges, God's priests. The Adawanyam, the worship, man, because we're gonna be true gods, priests, kings, judges, lords, man. Right? Yahweh Shai is gonna be the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. So look at that title, and that title means king above the lesser king. We're the lesser kings because we're gonna be joint heirs with a Mashiach, but we're gonna be lesser because Yahweh Shai is a great. That's the only begotten Son, man. Who the fuck are we? It's a man of guys, man. So that's what's going into, digressing back, it makes to mention how and shall rebuke many peoples, and they shall beat their swords in the plowshares and the spears in the pruning hooks, referring to that servitude, aka slavery. And nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn any more. There'd be no need to go anyways because y'all will be under us, man. That means no more global superpowers. The modern day definition for the modern day term to refer to an empire, America's an empire, China's an empire, Russia's an empire. But the modern day word to refer to an empire is a superpower. A global superpower refers to a country with highly influential military, highly influential technology, economy, so on. America is the number one and China's second place. Russia is rising in ranks. But there's not going to be any more superpowers, man. Y'all will be under the nation of Israel. Because the nation of Israel, the kingdom of Israel, the empire of Israel, man, right? The kingdom of Yahweh Shai, that's going to be ruling government in the whole universe, man. Right? We're going to inhabit other planets, man. Hey, Yahweh Shai made the mention, in my father's mansion are many houses. It's like it. In my father's house are many mansions, like going to the planets, man. You see a mansion that has multiple rooms, compared to a little condo. Now imagine the planet. That's a lot of space. A mansion has a lot of space. A planet has a lot of space, man. Not only that, but being true gods, we're gonna have possession of the elements once again. Just like how the elect created the the first spirits created, they helped create the earth, right? Those angels you read about in the book of Genesis, the first chapter, right? Because it ain't only Yahweh, it was also Yahweh shining the angels. They were building off the blueprint of the Most High. So the Lord still gets the credit for it because He helped give the blueprint. We wouldn't have conceived these things without Him, right? And even if we conceive of an animal, if we conceive of something unimaginable, that was already conceived by Yahweh Ba'ashna Shai. So how about that? So going back to the creation, we're gonna have possession of the elements again. We're gonna create planets, man. And how great is that? So I do quick little lesson, although it was edifying, man. And with that being said, that's what edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, who this world so ignorantly calls God, and Jesus Christ, His true names are in the Pentateuch Hebrew, aka the Lashon Kodash. Because when it comes to the names of the powers, we don't go by the English names, man. Right? We go by the Hebrew. That's the language that we were given. That's the pure language, man. Actually, I'm gonna pull that out. We're not done yet, man. We're not done yet. But for now, the third chapter makes mention how third chapter verse 9. How the Lord shall return to us a pure language. And that ain't no fucking Yiddish, because you look into the history of Yiddish, that's a culmination of German and so on and so forth. That ain't no fucking pure language. That's a defiled language because it contains a culmination of various words, man, from different languages. What's pure about that? That's fucking impure. That's impure. But what's it called? The Hebrew, it's a pure language. Zephaniah, the third chapter, verse 9. For then will I turn to the people of pure language. And we have the pure language, the Hebrew, man. And that's what we always try and study, what's it called, anytime we can. All right? That's why we know the true name is the powers. Let's just go into the name. We are supposed to know the name. Yahweh Ba'ashim Shai. What's it called? We know other words like Shabbat. What's it called? Means it's like it. Shabbat. Shabbat. It's like Shabbat means tribe. All right. It's called Bayath, house. Right? Gamal means camel's back, right? I'm taking the loft means door, right? At least that's the word book means a bar. The word means a bar. So bar means book, and the bar means word. So you see how they rhyme together. And a book is a book contains words, right? So examples of the Hebrew language, right? Israel in the Hebrew is Yashar Allah, right? God in the Hebrew is Allah, right? Which even the Muslims, they break that thing around. They say Allah. It's Allah, right? Allah in the Hebrew, not Allah, Allah. Which even Allah have the name of the Lord. The name of the Lord is Yahweh, not Yahweh, not Yahweh, not whatever the freaking heck you call it. But yeah, Jake, I heard he's called one of my whack ass names. With no proper foundation, no proper sources, man. They just come up with that shit and say that's the name of the Lord. That ain't the name of the Lord. Hey, but what's it called? One often the Hebrew is written, the word Lord in the Hebrew is Yahweh. That's the name of the Heavenly Father. It ain't I am what I am. It's Yahweh. All right. All right. So for then will I turn people of pure language that they may all call upon the name of the Lord and serve with one consent. See, we're supposed to know the name of the Lord. If you are able to come into the house and they just talking about Jesus fucking Christ, man. Jesus Christ, that's whack, man. You whack for that. What? The Lord ain't hearing you. Ain't no blessed cat, ain't none of that. It's not an edifying camp unless you actually proclaim the names of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. That's an edifying thing to the people. All right, I know his name of the Lord. Now I know. But you're talking about what's it called? Jesus Christ. Yeah, that ain't the fucking truth. So what's called, that's when I do invocation. I give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father, and be honest. Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim HaRachak Kodash. To the apostles, and there's that great millstone who will well, and the top is 100% truth. Much peace and blessings come into your whole for whatever purpose not this word of thought, truth, and sincerity. So while you walk, I do say so long. About the ball, ETA soon, go out. The water, I hope you had a edifying lesson. Spot on. The truth is real. It is real treasure. Shalom. All right.